So the only funda which I always go with is balancing is the beauty. So yes, writing has come out as a very positive thing for me. Talking about mental health, especially when we term it as depression, itself is a taboo word. People don't want to talk about it because people don't understand. The society is very judgmental. Depression comes, people directly link it to some mental, मतलब या तो पागलपन.
Self-love in one word.
Unapologetic.
Awesome.
The one thing out of all, there's one thing which I want, that I really want women to support women. किसी किसी के साथ ये होता है कि हस्बैंड मर जाते हैं, वाइफ को पता ही नहीं हो रहा है, कि पता ही नहीं है उसको कि पीछे क्या है मेरे लिए, because she was completely unaware of it.
Correct.
More than being financially empowered, which is actually in today's generation a lot of women are, right? But it is very important to be financially literate.
Yes. Some episodes leave you thinking and some leave you inspired. But this one is a powerhouse of motivation and raw truth. From battling her own mental health in silence and becoming a voice of self-love, आज जो हमारी guest है, she is a certified mental health coach, a published author, and most importantly a woman जिसने अपनी ही story को not only in paper but also in real life हमारे सबके सामने present किया है. Get ready for an episode packed with hard-hitting truths and some myth-busting. आज के हमारी guest है Nikita Shah. Please welcome her to the show. Hi Nikita, how are you?
Hi, I'm very fine, thank you.
So you are an author. You are running a successful business as an entrepreneur. At the same time, you're managing 2 kids and published 2 books. So we are extremely, excited to know how do you balance all of this.
Okay, so the only funda which I always go with is balancing is the beauty. So yes, it is very difficult as a single parent to fit in all shoes, but I think having a specific routine for yourself, for your children, for your work, for your self-care, self-love, I think that's the key, that you have a good routine where you are comfortable also, and you just enjoy the day. As the day ends, you're back home with your family, you're enjoying. So I think that's what keeps me going.
The routine,
yes.
Okay, great point. So Nikita, writing एक बहुत ही powerful outlet है, and you have been into writing, and लोग journal करते हैं. How do you think people journal करके, what kind of transformation can be expected?
So most of my early times when I was going through mental health issues, I really had no idea of what is exactly mental health. For me, when I realized that there's something wrong with me, I think writing was something that came very handy to me, because that was the only place where I felt that I was not being judged. Because when you go out and when you tell people about it, people at that point of time had a lot of bad notions about being depressed or maybe having anxiety. They never understood because people are not educated towards it.
Right.
So yes, writing has come out as a very positive thing for me. Even if I write sad things, but that gives me a lot of energy, and I feel that okay, there's a place where I can vent out where nobody's judging me.
Yes, absolutely.
So that's how writing has been really very important.
And that's why a lot of people journal, they write their everyday life.
It becomes much more easier also, because when people go through mental health issues, when they journal, and when they start reading it from the starting, but by the end of the year, when you're reading, and when you reach the last page of that book, you realize that how much you've evolved, how much you've grown, and you feel very proud of yourself at that point of time. So yes, again, writing journal is the best thing one can do.
Absolutely. Your books, you have written 2 books, right?
Yeah.
So, do they inspire transformation? And what is the takeaway from the books?
Yes, the first book, Dusky Vibes, is a poetry book, and it is a sort of manifestation. It is just poetry, and poetry out of love and care and everything. The second book in our stories, We Live. This book talks about a lot of mental health. It talks about a lot of issues that today's world people are facing in the society. I mean, there are incidences where I have highlighted where the abuser and the victim, both of them don't know that they are a victim or the abuser, and that is how I feel that this book can be used as a guide, for people to just understand and acknowledge that there can be a situation in which you must understand that this is toxic for me, and or maybe this is something toxic in me which I'm doing to somebody else. So acknowledging it, and I really want readers to understand that this can happen anywhere. And it's happening everywhere, but we just can't point it out, or probably we don't even know about it. So
right.
I really
we aren't
want aware of it. Though we talk about mental health and depression and a lot of things on social media now, but I feel that still people really need to get educated about it. Like proper education, as in school mein padhaya jaye, that this is something which we really need our children to learn,
right,
so that we do not have more damaged adults in the future.
Correct.
So this is what I really want that readers should take away from this book.
निकिता, मेंटल हेल्थ को बहुत टैबू की तरह लिया जाता है सोसाइटी में, और लोग इसके बारे में बात नहीं करना चाहते हैं, अपने इनर सर्कल में शेयर नहीं करते हैं, छुपा लेते हैं, काफ़ी चीज़ों से गुजर रहे होते हैं, बट देन दे आर ऑलवेज हाइडिंग एंड कीपिंग विद इन देमसेल्व्स. So what would you like people to understand about this? How do they get out of it?
Talking about mental health, especially when we term it as depression, itself is a taboo word. People don't want to talk about it because people don't understand that mental illness is just like having high sugar, high BP, low BP. It's just that it's in the body, you can measure it.
Absolutely.
But here you can't measure it.
You can't see it.
You can't see it. So people kind of don't understand, and the kind of society we live in, the society is very judgmental. So whenever the term depression comes, people directly link it to some mental, मतलब या तो पागलपन, कि इसे कोई पागलपन है. People must read about it. People must, there are so many campaigns going on. There are so many people on social media talking about it, and I think that only after I think talking about it more and more and more, this barrier can be broken.
The stigma can
be broken. Also, people must have those kind of friends,
right?
A very close group of friends who really understand this kind of a situation, or maybe a partner who understands that
someone they can go to.
Yeah, exactly. That I'm just not well. I don't know what am I going through, but there's something not right with me. So yeah, that kind of we need that educated people around us, and I think mostly it's the elder generation should be educated about it, because I think youngsters are still more educated about it.
Yeah, now they are.
The elderlies are not.
Yeah.
So I feel that is much important.
Help seek करने के practical ways क्या हैं?
First of all, it is very important to acknowledge that you're going through something. Second thing is acceptance. That first you kind of understand that there's something wrong with you, and then you accept that there's really something wrong with me, and then you seek help. You go to your friends, or maybe you go to a therapist, and you indulge into self-care. And I think with all of these three, and also having a willpower to just come out of it,
right?
Because nothing is, no doctor, no medicines can do anything to you until unless you don't move,
or you don't accept or you don't acknowledge.
That's what. So it's very important that more than anybody else, it's you who has to do it.
Absolutely.
So I always say this, that nobody's coming for you. It's you who have to decide. It's you who have to decide that I have to, feel well. I cannot be laying around in the bed, or maybe, just feeling sad and depressed. Or maybe if something is happening to me, why is it happening to me? You really need to keep reflecting on yourself. Most of the time people don't even feel that they are depressed, because they're so much engrossed with so many things, but then it will just come to you in the most horrific way. So at that point of time, I think the willpower in you, the fighting spirit that everybody has, so that has to come up, that I have to be fine. So more than all of these things, the first thing is that you acknowledge, accept, seek help, talk about it, and be very honest and own it. That okay, I'm going through something and I want to come out of it. I want to fight it. Wherever I go on my social media platform, I keep telling people that it's very, very important to educate yourself. It's not for your own self, but you never know, it might be your child, your wife, your husband, your grandparents, or maybe your own parents. You just never know. But if you're educated, and if you're sitting with somebody and talking about anything, you kind of understand
that something is not right.
Something is not right. And then slowly and gradually you kind of explain that person that, don't you think that this is something you must think about or reflect on?
Correct.
And you can just help that person.
Very true.
That's how I think people can seek help. And I think nowadays it's good that people are educated about it.
How does mental health affect relationships, Nikita? क्या असर होता है relationships पे इसका?
बहुत ही ज़्यादा गहरा असर होता है. Mental health issues can be in various forms, like having low self-esteem, having inferiority complex with your own partner, narcissism, again gaslighting, and these are all traits that we see in day-to-day lives. So it really affects not only just a spouse relationship, but it also affects relationships with your parents, with the society, with the children. We've heard about toxic parenting, and such terms are so gruesome to hear, because somewhere we also have these kind of traits in us, but we don't kind of
address
it, or maybe probably we don't even know it.
We don't even speak about
it. So yes, it really, really affects all relationships in our life. At some point of time, I've also met people who say that, oh, you know what, I'm so angry with life.
Right.
So your relationship with your life itself goes on a toss. And yeah, so this is how. And I've also heard people saying that, oh, I hate God. Because,
God has done this to me
and that and everything. So yeah, again, so it affects all your relationships.
So given a situation, Nikita, suppose there is a toxic partnership between two people, how do they ensure that their children are not raised in a negative environment, negative influences happening on them? How do you ensure that? How can people ensure that?
See, I think when there's a toxic partnership, I believe that a toxic partnership involves adults. And I think that when two adults come together, they must have that kind of a maturity on the first place, where they recognize that there is something majorly wrong in their relationship. And if they have children together, they must acknowledge that part and understand that for our children, we must take therapy. There are so many marriage counselors. They can go for personal therapies. And even after all of that, they decide that, we just want to split our ways, and we just can't be married with each other because we are not happy, or maybe for whatsoever reason, right? So I think that both of them must be civil enough to understand that they have children to raise. Right. So there are so many ways of co-parenting. There has to be liberty to the children, that the children can go to any of the parent whenever he or she wishes. Giving them a very safe environment where the grandparents are involved. They have a very intact, very close family. The families also should have that understanding that, okay, both of them, they are doing, they're not happy together.
Right.
but they're thinking about the welfare of the children. So that whole process should be very smooth and supportive.
Right.
And the situation must be very clear to the children also.
Transparent.
Transparency. The children must never be kept in any kind of darkness, or sometimes people do that. Oh, your father is out of town, or your mother is sick, or this and that. So it's not the right thing, because today's kids, they understand. They're very smart. So they understand, and they want, and the more curiosity will develop in them, the more they'll start digging. And their digging will not be as matured thinking as ours is.
They will interpret on their own.
And it is very important for us to let them know the truth,
right,
according to their age.
Yeah.
This is what I feel. Yeah. And also one more thing I would love to add in this, that when a couple understands that there's something majorly wrong between them, I feel that if there is love, and if there's respect and care, both of them need to start empowering each other towards their own growth.
Right.
When kids see this, it automatically just creates a lovely environment for them. Right. Even if they're separated, or even if they're divorced, but if they see that both the parents are helping each other in their growth and supporting them, and then just being there for them, so it just makes a lot of difference.
Yeah, managing the situation in a more dignified manner.
way. Yes, that is what I feel, that's how you can keep your children happy.
निकिता, पेरेंटिंग आसान नहीं होती है. बहुत सारे एक्सटर्नल प्रेशर से एक मदर को गुजरना पड़ता है, एंड शी हैज़ टू डील विद अ लॉट व्हाइल शी ब्रिंग्स अप हर चिल्ड्रन. सो हाउ कैन पेरेंट्स एंश्योर that they are building compassion and at the same time understanding in their children? कैसे कर सकते हैं ये?
I think firstly तो हमें ये समझना है कि when we talk about children, we are gender neutral. Because gone are the days when girls were treated, raised in a different way, and boys were treated and raised in a different way, right? I feel that when these children will step out of their schools and colleges, I feel that they will have an equal with them. There will be no hierarchy here. So I think it is very important for the kids from now to understand this thing, that there is no gender difference. Right? And it is very important for the boys to understand how a girl feels, and a girl to understand what a boy feels.
Whenever they are going through something. Right.
And even if they are together also. Like if we talk about puberty. So again, when we talk about periods, so boys, they shy away from this. But then I feel that it is very important for a mother to stand up and guide her son, that this is very natural. This is something that your wife, your mother, your daughter will go through.
Yeah.
You just can't shy away from it. And the same way it goes for the female.
Right.
The girl child must be educated that way, according to how things are with the men and how things happen. It is very, very important to have transparency here. And also especially when it comes to boys, I feel that the boys, the mothers have to teach that sometimes that, what, I'm not well.
Yeah.
Why don't you just sit next to me and hold my hand? I'm just feeling very low. So that's how you create a lot of kindness in that child. And you'll see that tomorrow when the child will grow up, he'll be doing the same thing to his partner, and they'll have a better life. And I think that's how
empathy is built that way.
And it will only happen once we start showing it.
Yes, absolutely.
You can't expect that, okay, I just keep telling, and then he or she will understand. No, you will have to practically do it. I mean, even if there's a couple, the couple has to show love. That, I respect your mother, I respect your father, we love each other. So that kind of a bond, पहले के टाइम में मॉम डैड हाथ पकड़ने से भी कतराते थे. The kids are watching. But it is very important for the kids to see that, okay, this kind of a culture where my father or my mother, they are expressing love, or maybe singing a song, or maybe just dancing together, or waiting for dinner or lunch. all those little things will build that kind of a future for them also.
Right.
Because tomorrow, a lot of socializing will exit from their lives. And at that time, only the core family is something that will be very close to them. And at that time, in this era, when we see there are a lot of divorces and all of these things, I feel that, these are little things that can create a lot of empathy.
Yeah, the little gestures.
The little gestures. And it should be from both the ends.
Yeah.
It's not only the mother's thing or the father's thing to do. So yeah, I think these are very little things that, which actually creates a very kind
environment
and empathetic person actually.
Yeah.
Overall.
हमने बात की about partnership, right? Every relationship should have some sync in the partnership.
Right.
But women को किस तरह की empowerment मिलनी चाहिए? Financially, mentally, emotionally. What do you think about it?
I think financial independence is very important. But again, I'll tell you one more thing. It's like financial independence is for the women, who are just in their 30s or 40s and 50s. But when we talk about the later generation, that is 60 years old or maybe, older than that, we can't expect them to have financial independence because they've never worked before.
Yeah.
Right? So more than being financially independent, I always use the word be financially literate.
Right.
Because empowerment, even if you're working, you're earning well, you're doing everything, but if you are not literate enough to where to put the money, how much to invest, what is the return, what is the market, or for the oldies, if I talk about, किसी के साथ ये होता है कि हस्बैंड मर जाते हैं, वाइफ को पता ही नहीं हो रहा है कि पता ही नहीं है उसको कि पीछे क्या है मेरे लिए, because she was completely unaware of it.
Correct.
And
she never participated,
or maybe even if she wanted, she was never invited to participate.
Not allowed also.
So that's where I feel that, more than being financially empowered, which is actually in today's generation, a lot of women are, right? But it is very important to be financially literate.
Yes. That comes as the first step.
You can earn a lot of money, but if you don't know how to manage the money, it is very difficult.
Yeah.
So yes, financial independence is required, but with that, financial literacy is very important.
Right.
So that is something which we really need. मतलब ये schools में पढ़ाया जाए, colleges में पढ़ाया जाए, older ladies के लिए लोग campaigns करें या मतलब इनके लिए short term classes भी शुरू कर सकते हैं. A lot of people can do it and a lot of people can enroll and learn a lot of things from it.
And make them aware of their rights.
Yes.
What they are supposed to have.
Exactly. And that includes a lot of legal rights also. कि लोगों को educate होना बहुत ज़रूरी है. And especially for the older women.
Yeah.
I think it is very important.
I agree.
Yeah.
That's a very good reply. I think we got a lot of insights out of it.
Yes. So financial literacy is the word.
Got it. एक क्विक सा रैपिड फायर करेंगे निकिता आपके साथ और जानेंगे आपके बारे में. Just give us one words for these questions.
Okay.
Quickly, as quick as you can.
Okay, I'll try.
So, one thing you love about yourself?
Me being a mother.
A self-care habit you swear by?
Reading.
Your go-to confidence booster?
Traveling.
Wow.
पहाड़ों में.
Acha. A mantra you live by?
Little things, immense happiness.
Oh. One thing you stopped apologizing for?
To be socially active.
A book that changed your perspective?
An autobiography of a yogi.
Your favorite way to unwind?
Sleep.
Mine too. A compliment you give yourself often?
That I'm doing good.
You're doing great.
Yeah.
Self-love in one word?
Unapologetic.
Awesome. That was great.
Thank you.
ये एक क्वेश्चन है निकिता जो हम हमारे हर गेस्ट से पूछना चाहते हैं, फ्यूचर वाले भी. And you are our second guest here. So, with your journey, with your knowledge, with your wisdom, I would like to ask, what is the ripple you want to create?
So it's a very interesting question, first things. Since whatever I've gone through in life, what I feel is that the one thing out of all there's one thing which I want, that I really want women to support women, to be a strong force. You know, like boys and men have bro codes.
Yeah.
You know, we all must have that also. You know, that we are not
Yes.
feared by any other women. Because so many years of, you know, seeing things that way, you know, that she took away my job and she took away my husband and this and that. It's always the women who's at fault.
Yeah.
ताली दो हाथ से बजती है, but it is always the women who is at fault. So that's the thing which I really want to change, you know, and also make it a point, whosoever I'm talking to, you know, I am making a point where if I am talking to any man, I am having that kind of an posture, or maybe, you know, that kind of an ethic, that I will not go beyond this point, because I don't want any other women to feel insecure because of
from
me. So that is something which I really stick on to.
Yeah.
That I don't want anybody to go through that, right? First is that, and the second is again about awareness, about mental health. I studied mental health psychology, and after discovering it, that I felt that it is so much that people go through, and from my work I really want people to open up, talk about it. I have so many people on my DMs who just randomly write their stories, and I'm just there listening, reading to their stories, and just talking to them that it's fine, it's going to be okay, you know, why don't you seek help? So this is a kind of thing which I really want, that, you know, through my work also, that people should be more educated about mental health and be more compassionate towards these people, and understand where these things come from.
Nice. That's
You know,
really.
these are two things I really want, you know, to happen around me. That's what I'm trying to do.
I'm sure you'll get there one day. Very
Thank
sure.
you. Thank you so much.
Nikita, it was so good. It was so amazing talking to you.
Likewise.
और बहुत डीप था, बहुत ज़्यादा समझ में आई बहुत सारी चीज़ें, स्पेशली मेंटल हेल्थ क्या है, कितना ज़रूरी है, पेरेंटिंग, को पेरेंटिंग, एंड आई थिंक पता नहीं और कितनी सारी चीज़ें. इट वॉज रियली रियली ग्रेट ऑफ यू टू कम हियर
Thank you.
and educate our audience.
It is an honor being here.
Thank you.
Really, thank you for calling me up here. It was really nice talking to you. Really.
Likewise. If this conversation lit the fire in you, I'm sure आपके आसपास भी ऐसे बहुत सारे लोग होंगे जिनकी स्टोरीज को हम सामने ला सकते हैं. अगर आपका ऐसा कोई है तो प्लीज़ DM us the names or write their names in the comment section. This is Shweta Jain, your host for The Ripple Effect.